And joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman Madeleine Dean of Pennsylvania. She's one of the House impeachment managers. Congresswoman, thank you very much for being with us. I want to touch on impeachment and the schedule, what you may know of it, but let's start with security. How do you feel right now with the perimeter that's set up?
Well, Katie, thank you for having me on. It's a sad set of days. I'm here in Washington, D.C., and you've seen the militarized perimeter that's occasioned because the president incited an insurrection, an attack by Americans on our very seat of government. So I find certainly security is at the highest of levels, something we never imagined, but I just find it to be an extraordinarily sad set of days for our country.
So we're hearing from a lot of people on the right that in order for this country to come together and heal, and just mind you that there's 2/3 of the country, according to a recent, I believe it's a Quinnipiac poll that says that 2/3 of Republicans who say they don't believe that Joe Biden was fairly elected, that it was a fraudulent election. But a lot of Republicans are saying in order to do this, we need to drop impeachment and try to build bridges. Senator Graham sent a letter to Senator Schumer, who's going to be the majority leader very soon. And he says the Senate should vote to dismiss the article of impeachment once it is received in the Senate. We will be delaying indefinitely, if not forever, the healing of this great nation if we do otherwise. What is your reaction to that?
The only way for this nation to heal is to recognize what we just went through and make sure we never allow it to happen again. So I find Senator Graham's arguments to be flawed. And they're coming from a man who has poured away his credibility in buckets. My son tells me about credibility. You pour it away in buckets and you earn it in droplets. Sadly, Senator Graham has poured away his credibility. And so for him to say, oh, let's all just come together and heal and not recognize the behaviors of this president, the last four years of sweeping lies that literally incited a mob that came, let's remember what they came to do. And I was there in the gallery along with your colleague, Haley Talbot. They came to assassinate the speaker. They came to hang the president's own vice president, Mike Pence. They came to hunt down members of Congress and members of the press. After all, the president has called the press the enemy of the people. There's no healing without recognizing and uncovering the lies and telling the American public these were lies that led you to this destructive behavior.
Will you be calling any witnesses in the trial?
Well, I won't preview our trial strategy, but I will say as to the issue of witnesses, I was a witness. You were a witness. The American public was a witness. I read the testimony of Haley, your colleague. We were all witnesses to this. The world witnessed this. And they witnessed what the president did in the days and weeks leading up to this catastrophe and this insurrection that he himself incited.
One of the arguments from Republicans is that this isn't fair. There wasn't much of a hearing in the House. Evidence wasn't presented in the House, just the article of impeachment. Can you rectify that in the Senate? Should you rectify that in the Senate to remove that excuse?
Well, good word that you chose, an excuse. You know, it's Martin Luther King Day. And I think of his wise words so over and over again in these incredibly challenging times. I ask every member of the House and of the Senate to listen to what King said, that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. These senators, these House members, myself included, we swore an oath. We have to uphold that oath even and maybe especially in times of challenge and controversy. So to throw up hollow excuses like we just didn't have enough evidence, we didn't have enough hearings. We had a hearing, the Capitol, when it was under a joint session of Congress, was attacked by Americans incited by the president. Take our oath seriously, move forward, and it's time to rectify the situation, call it the constitutional crime that it was, prevent Donald Trump from ever holding office again.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.